What the hell just happened? Jacob Fatu is broken. Bronson Reed and Bron Breakker have officially crossed the line, and I'm telling you right now, this is the most disgusting display of unsportsmanlike conduct we've seen in years. And if you think this was just another beatdown, you're dead wrong. The Samoan Werewolf, the man who's been unstoppable since joining the bloodline, just got demolished by two absolute monsters who have completely lost their minds. And here's what's got me absolutely furious: management did nothing to stop it. Nothing. Let me paint you the picture of what went down, because what I witnessed backstage will make your blood boil. Jacob Fatu was walking through the parking garage, minding his own business after his interview segment, when suddenly, wham! Bronson Reed comes out of nowhere with a steel chair to the back of Fatu's head. But that wasn't enough for these psychopaths. Before Fatu could even hit the ground, Bron Breakker emerged from behind a production truck like some kind of predator, and these two started laying into Jacob Fatu like he owed them money. This wasn't wrestling, this was attempted murder. Reed grabbed Fatu by the hair and slammed his face into the concrete wall not once, not twice, but 5 times. You could hear the sickening impact echoing through the entire parking garage. Blood was pouring down Fatu's face like a crimson waterfall, and these two savages were just getting started. Bron Breakker, this so-called next-generation superstar, showed his true colors when he picked up a steel pipe and started beating Jacob Fatu like he was breaking down a building. 15 shots to the ribs, to the back, to the shoulders. Each strike was calculated, methodical, and absolutely brutal. But here's where it gets even more disgusting: security was right there. I counted at least 6 security guards who could have intervened, but they just stood there like deer in headlights. Were they paid off? Were they scared? Or are they just completely incompetent? This is the question that's eating me alive. Reed then lifted the 270-pound Jacob Fatu like he was a rag doll and powerbombed him onto the hood of a rental car. The entire vehicle buckled under the impact. The windshield exploded into 1,000 pieces. And Fatu's body just went limp like all the life had been sucked out of him. You want to know what's really got me seeing red? The smile on Bronson Reed's face. This sick individual was actually enjoying watching one of the most respected wrestlers in the industry get brutalized. He was laughing, while Jacob Fatu was potentially fighting for his consciousness. Bron Breakker wasn't done either. Oh no, the psychopath had more in store. He dragged Fatu's lifeless body over to the concrete steps and positioned him for what can only be described as a spear that could have ended a career. The impact was so violent that it cracked the concrete steps. Cracked concrete. And where was the bloodline? Where was Roman Reigns? Where was Solo Sikoa? Their family member was getting destroyed, and they were nowhere to be found. This brotherhood, this family bond they keep talking about, it's all fake. Jacob Fatu was left to fend for himself against two absolute monsters. The medical team finally arrived 12 minutes later. 12 minutes. In 12 minutes, a man can die. In 12 minutes, a career can end. In 12 minutes, a family can lose everything. But apparently, that's how long it takes for WWE medical staff to respond to an emergency. When they loaded Jacob Fatu onto that stretcher, his eyes were rolled back, there was blood pooling under his head, and his left arm was twisted in a way that arms should never twist. The paramedics were shouting medical terms I can't even pronounce, and all I could think about was whether we'd ever see the Samoan Werewolf compete again. But here's the real kicker that's got me absolutely livid: Triple H's response. When asked about this incident, you know what he said? "These things happen in our business. These things happen. This wasn't a wrestling match gone wrong. This was a coordinated assassination attempt on one of your top performers." Bronson Reed has been running wild for months, using his 330-pound frame to demolish anyone who gets in his way, and management has done nothing to control him. This man has turned into an absolute weapon of mass destruction, and now he's got a partner in crime who's just as dangerous. Bron Breakker, the so-called golden boy of NXT, has shown his true nature. This isn't the next generation of WWE, this is the next generation of criminals. His family legacy means nothing when you're attacking people from behind like a coward. And let's talk about the conspiracy that's brewing here. These two didn't just randomly decide to attack Jacob Fatu. This was planned. This was orchestrated. Someone gave them the green light to take out one of the bloodline's most dangerous members. Think about it: Jacob Fatu has been on an absolute tear since joining WWE. He's demolished everyone put in front of him. He's made Roman Reigns look even more unstoppable. He's brought a level of violence and intensity that this company hasn't seen in years. And suddenly, two monsters decide to take him out. This stinks of corporate manipulation. Reed and Breaker have been sending a message for weeks that they're tired of being overlooked, tired of being passed up for opportunities, tired of watching other people get handed everything while they have to fight for scraps. But this isn't how you earn respect, this is how you become a villain. The footage I've seen from multiple angles is absolutely nauseating. Jacob Fatu's body ragdolled through the air when Reed hit him with that tsunami splash against the car. The sound of bones potentially breaking was audible even over the chaos of people screaming. Breaker's spear at the end looked like a linebacker hitting a quarterback at full speed. Fatu's head snapped back so violently that I thought we were witnessing something that would change wrestling forever, and not in a good way. Now Jacob Fatu is in a hospital bed, and his condition is being kept secret. WWE won't release any information about his injuries, his prognosis, or when we might see him return. This silence is deafening and absolutely suspicious. The bloodline is in chaos. Roman Reigns is reportedly furious beyond measure. Solo Sikoa is calling for blood. And somewhere in the background, Bronson Reed and Bron Breakker are probably celebrating like they just won the lottery. But here's what these two idiots don't realize: they've awakened a sleeping giant. The bloodline doesn't forgive. The bloodline doesn't forget. And when Jacob Fatu returns, and he will return, there's going to be hell to pay. This attack has shifted the entire landscape of WWE. Every wrestler in that locker room now knows that nowhere is safe. You can't walk to your car without looking over your shoulder. You can't trust anyone. Reed and Breakker have turned WWE into a war zone. And management's response? Pathetic. Instead of immediate suspensions, instead of criminal charges, instead of justice, we get corporate speak about internal investigations and reviewing the footage. This is exactly why WWE has a locker room full of frustrated wrestlers who feel like they have to take matters into their own hands. The fans deserve better. Jacob Fatu deserves better. Professional wrestling deserves better than two unhinged maniacs running around attacking people like common street thugs. This is WWE Reporter, and I'm telling you right now, if you think this story is over, you're absolutely wrong. This is just the beginning of what's going to be the most violent, most personal, most explosive feud we've seen in years. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Are Reed and Breakker justified in their frustrations, or have they crossed a line that can never be uncrossed? Hit that like button if you want to see Jacob Fatu get his revenge, and subscribe because this story is far from over. The war has begun, and nobody is safe.